Once you stop waiting for permission to be yourself, bro, no matter what happens after, you'll deal with it. You might feel bad, but you live. And once you see that nothing bad happens to you by acting the way you want to act, that's when man, that clip was ready to go crazy, but I just had to mess it up, right? That is when the social anxiety goes away. Once you stop waiting for permission to just be who you want to be. You see nothing bad happens to you, you enjoy it, you feel good from doing it. That's when you stop feeling anxious and bad and caring overly about what people think about you. What's on the other side of discomfort is growth. And I need to lean into that shit way more. I know that I do. It's not whether or not I have the ability to succeed, but do I have the courage to succeed? Do I have the courage to potentially fail? And the courage to keep going despite that failure so that I will inevitably succeed. Gen Z ends social anxiety after years of suffering. Video by Ty Boogie Podcast, man. Now I know me, I suffer from social anxiety very heavily. I'm always constantly monitoring my actions, wondering what people think about me, and it's hard to turn it off. But apparently Gen Z ended that hoe. I am Gen Z, I have not ended that shit at all. So I'm curious as to how my fellow Gen Zers are doing that, which is why we clicked on the video to find out. Ty Boogie, take it away.
I don't think that people really understand social anxiety. It's like, let me explain it. Like, imagine, you know that feeling when you about to get on a roller coaster and you get all the way up to the top and then you know that it's about to drop and you get that feeling in your chest like, oh my God, like you so anxious.
So here on my channel, we're always talking about personal growth. One of the topics that I talked about was just improving, how we speak and how we communicate. Something I work towards myself. But one thing that I've experienced in my life, and I made a video about this before, that no matter how good you are at speaking, if you have this thing, your communication skills will never showcase.
No cap.
You will never benefit from your communication skills if you have this. And that thing is social anxiety. And anxiety is stopping you from feeling comfortable when you're socializing.
Is that something that you could really rid yourself of? I feel like you could do mindset tricks for it, but like certain things will trigger your social anxiety to a certain extent. That is, unless you have enough exposure to them. You know what I'm saying? As in, if you have enough interactions with people and you see that even when you are awkward, nothing goes wrong, you kind of get used to it. And it's kind of like, oh yeah, my body don't need to see this as a threat no more. So I feel like that might be the thing. You know what I'm saying? Either you got to get more experience or you got to have a mindset shift. Or you could do both and get even better results.
Anxiety that tells you to go into a box when you're in front of somebody else or when you walk into a room. Shy away. Don't show all of this talent that you have. Don't express yourself. It tells you stay in this box because the box is safe. And if you go out of the box, somebody approaches you or it's time for you to approach somebody or the attention is on you, the pressure is unbearable, so you want to run away from the moment. But a saying that we've all heard was closed mouths don't get fed. And I'm here to tell you, as somebody that had really bad social anxiety at one point, it is not something you have to live with for the rest of your life.
Okay.
I don't think that people really understand social anxiety. It's like, let me explain it. Like, imagine, you know that feeling when you about to get on a roller coaster and you get all the way up to the top and then you know that it's about to drop and you get that feeling in your chest like, oh my God, like you so anxious. That's how we feel when it's time to talk to somebody. Like, let me give a simple example of like how crazy and how this shit feel. So imagine you in school, right? And they doing attendance and they get to your name. You know it's about to be your name. Probably 2 names left.
Get nervous as shit.
You're replaying over and over again.
How am I going to say here?
How you're going to say here.
Yeah.
So it's like, how am I say here. Your mind just start racing.
Here. But when it's actually time, it's like here. Like, bro, I don't know why it's always like that. She spitting facts.
Then when it get closer to you, your heart start beating fast as hell just for you to say, here. Like, people try to make it seem like so easy, but it's not. Like, to walk into a room, especially like as an adult, it's hard because it's like you have to have those social interactions. So like I lack like eye contact because it's like I know exactly what to say, but it makes me nervous when I have to say it to somebody. So if I look away, you feel me, I can talk a little bit easier. It's easier for me to talk, or talking on the phone is a lot better for me. But like actual human connections, being in like tight spaces is weird for me too. Like, I don't like people touching me. I don't like hugs. It's like too much. Like, everything is like so overwhelming for me.
Yeah.
But it's like I said, I'm working on it
bro, I don't think there is a single person that I feel 100% comfortable around. 100%. I don't know that that person exists quite yet, bro, because I am just, you know what I'm saying, at this current point in time, I am too anxious, bro. I'm too self-conscious. I always feel like somebody judging me, like I gotta prove myself to somebody. And it sucks, bro. Like my homies, when I'm in the call with them, like, you know what I'm saying, FaceTime or a Discord call, there's no pressure because, oh yeah, these my niggas. I fuck with them. But if they right there in my face looking at me, I feel anxious as shit. I feel like I got, like, you feel me, be, I don't know, friendly to them. I kind of gotta carry this friendly dynamic and this homie vibe in person instead of just having that homie vibe naturally and not forcing that shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why, but them thoughts always creep up into my mind, bro. I don't know what it is. It could be informed by the way that I live, because I know we don't control our thoughts, but a lot of our habits and patterns, they, you know what I'm saying, they directly influence what kind of thoughts we have. Because if we tend to enable certain behaviors and them thoughts come to us, right, and we constantly heed to them, or what's it called, yield to them thoughts, and we follow that kind of behavior that would follow that train of thought, which is to say, oh yeah, I can't talk well. I always embarrass myself. I'm too awkward. As a result, I'm not going to try to make this new friend. I'm not going to try to approach this girl. I'm not going to speak my mind in class or in any social situations, you know what I'm saying? Because I always fuck up and it's probably going to go bad. So let me not even do it. When you constantly engage in them behaviors that reinforce them thoughts that you have, them thoughts just become that much stronger, bro. Because you can definitely, I wouldn't say you entirely get rid of them, but you're quicker to stop entertaining them thoughts when your actions match, you know what I'm saying, a differing version of yourself. You know what I'm saying? Say, for example, you're anxious. If your actions match a confident person that's not anxious, you kind of, them thoughts creep up into your head. You're like, oh no, that's some bullshit. Because I do all these things and I'm going to go do it again right now, nigga, just to prove it to myself. You feel me? And that's a fact. I forgot why I got on this tangent, but I feel like it was a good one. So y'all let me know. You know what I'm saying?
I know that I'm going to need, you know, those things, but having social anxiety is not for, like, it's hard. Like, it's literally hard, and it's draining. It's so draining. It's draining to have so much to say, but your body is literally, like, so scared to say it. You're not scared, but your body, like, everything is, like,
dead
I don't know.
ass.
It's just overwhelming.
Yo, especially if you have one of those jobs. One thing I love is a good side hustle. There's nothing I
Yeah, I fuck with the hoodie, big bro, but not the, not the sponsor on my vid. But shout out to you, my nigga.
please share. As you can see, like, you have to come to making real life money. Try it
There
out for
we go.
yourself. All right. But let's get back where they make, like, you have to come to a meeting and you have to report to everybody.
Yeah.
Like, I remember I went to this school. It was some type of school in the military. And in the beginning of each school, especially if it's like an intimate school, they'll make people introduce themselves. So as it's going around, people are introducing themselves and it's getting closer to me. I don't know about y'all, but one of the hardest things to talk about is yourself sometimes. Like
Yeah.
when somebody says, tell me something about yourself. It's
Either you want to be humble or you just draw a blank because you know so many things about yourself. It's like, oh, where do I start with? You know what I'm saying? What's important in this situation? What is too much information? What is appropriate for the setting? It's like, it's a lot of factors that go into it.
so hard to come up with something. And it's because you want to say the right thing. What I've learned is structure is very good. When that moment is coming and you don't really know how you're going to say it, I've learned is sometimes just having a formula of what I want to talk about, it'll ease my anxiety because I know I can go by this formula and the person that's listening, they don't really realize that I'm having like
You
an anxious
prepared, yeah.
moment or something like that. So the formula was prep. It was the purpose, the reason, an example, and a purpose. So for an example, if somebody was to be like, what's your favorite sport? Well, basketball is my favorite sport. That's the purpose, I guess we could call it. The reason, that was something I grew up watching my dad play. So watching my dad play basketball, I mean, it changed my whole life. I just knew I can be the next Allen Iverson. I could have been the next Dwayne Wade. And then the E would be the example. Like, I was that kid growing up that I would play basketball in the rain. Like, I didn't care if none of my friends wanted to come outside. When I was living in New York, there were times it would start raining while I'm playing and I'm still playing. But some way, somehow in my head, this was all going to be a part of my grinding story. You know, so that's why I love basketball so much. So I brought it back around. That's why I love basketball so much. So I bring that up because sometimes Knowing that you
That's
have
fire.
like a formula in your head, it makes it easier to communicate with people, because I think kind of like
It's kind of like you're more focused on following that formula as opposed to what they're like, how they're looking at you or some shit like that. But then again, trying so hard to follow, that's why it's more important to have somewhat of an outline as opposed to a script. Because if you try to remember that script, nigga, you gonna get nervous as hell. You like, I gotta get this shit correct, or else anything aside from the script will be utter failure. So you're anxious because of that, right? But if you got your little formula in mind that you try to remember, it's like, oh yeah, like, bro, you start focusing on something else instead of focusing on everybody looking at you in your face, because those things never really leave. I feel like you just get better at not acknowledging them or focusing on them. So when you give yourself something else to focus on, like you said, your formula, right? Trying to remember that whole, think of examples and stuff like that. It makes it so much more possible to take the focus off of yourself or what other people might think of you and focus yourself on what you're saying. It's very, 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 very productive. Very helpful. And I was going to say something else, but I forget. And I say that a lot, but we going to keep it going.
that question of tell me something about yourself. A lot of times, tell me something about yourself is like, okay, where do I start? I know so much about.
Oh yeah, I remember now. I was going to say a lot of the time when I'm spiraling in my self-consciousness and my social anxiety, I just focus on my breathing. You feel me? Because I notice my voice never really shakes because I am fearful or I'm nervous. It just shakes because as a result of those states, my breath gets shorter and I don't have enough oxygen in me to make strong sentences and words, quite like I'm doing right now, right? I'm taking my time, it's no pressure. But with people, I feel like I gotta talk with a certain speed, right? So I don't even take my time to actually breathe so that I could talk to you, you feel me? But when I focus on my actual breath in those moments before I speak, I make sure to get a good one off. I often sound a lot more confident and I'm able to speak without sounding like a bitch. It's real good.
Me. So
Very
where do I
good.
start? Just stay in one place. If you want to talk about where you're from, just go there. Now, I mean, talk a little bit about where you're from. But I find it that formulas and kind of knowing the structure of what I want to say, it makes it a lot easier instead of just jumbling all my thoughts together and just saying something. It's kind
Yeah.
of like stay on one point. If you're asking me about myself, maybe I'll give you 3 points. But these things make me feel a lot more comfortable when it is time for me to talk to somebody, especially if I'm being put on the spot. Now, she mentioned something that I think it kind of messed me up at one point as well, which was the whole eye contact part. Now, in Red Pill, right? This is back in 2021. I think I was going through a breakup or something. So that was when the whole Red Pill thing was going crazy. And I think all guys had the same experience with Red Pill.
Yeah.
Just, it seemed like a way, you know, like it seemed like maybe it was teaching us something until you realize, nah, some of these dudes just hate women, just outright. But one of the things that they used to say was eye contact is everything. Don't break eye contact. Now, here's the thing about that. And I understand, don't break eye contact. But not everybody is comfortable with talking just like this the whole time. I don't even talk just like this when I'm talking to the camera. There's going to be a point in time where I'm looking around or I'm looking up, but I make sure when it's time for me to set my
Come back.
emphasis,
Yeah.
I'm going to look directly at you. That, to me, is a comfortable way of talking without feeling pressure to stare at you into your pupils the whole time like I'm a robot. Because I found myself trying to hold eye contact so much that it was making me feel even more anxious. I think the most important part of a conversation in coming off as confident in the conversation.
That's an interesting thing that he said. He said the eye contact all the time made him feel more anxious, so he shied away from that hoe. Me? And I imagine he thinks like this is a possibility he thought of too, right? But I'm kind of like, yo, I should keep spamming that eye contact until it no longer makes me anxious because I built up the tolerance to it. And I feel like that's one method to get to it, but also just looking away, like, you know what I'm saying? If the pressuring, look away. I do it all the time, but I want to get to the point where I could just look you in your soul. Like, if I want to look at you, I'm going to look at you for as long as I'm going to look at you. You feel me? Especially when it's a girl, my nigga. I ain't dead staring no man into his soul. Like, that's just not happening with me. But with a girl, yeah, bro. I need that.
Is not about how long you can stare at somebody in their eyes, but it's more so of how much you believe in what you're saying and how you're expressing that. So if in expressing yourself, it doesn't have you staring at that person in their eyes like this, but you may look up for a second just to think about what you're going to say. For instance, somebody says, so where are you from? Well, I mean, I'm technically born in Brooklyn. I was raised in Staten Island. On the weekends, I would spend time in Harlem. But pretty much, if you ask me, I'm from Atlanta and I'm from New York at the same time. Now, I mean, I'm more deep rooted in New York because that's where I come from. But my later years, like high school, is when I was in Atlanta. So I didn't look at you the whole time, but I was very impactful with what I was saying so you could feel me. Now I know somebody's thinking like, yo, Ty, but the point is I'm scared to talk to people. What I'm trying to get y'all to understand is sometimes just using a formula to communicate with people would
Makes it easier.
will ease the pain. Because I know one of the things I was very scared of was not having the words when somebody would talk to me.
Dead
I
ass.
try to talk to this girl
That's
behind me.
huge.
I'm just say, hey. Hey. Damn, I'm weird as fuck, bro. This is crazy. What's good, bro? Damn, see, that's why I don't talk to people, bro.
See, on the outside, it looks like he didn't do anything out of the ordinary, but on the inside, he got all type of emotions and thoughts firing inside of him, bro, where he feel like he just did something dead wrong. And your mind, your thoughts and your emotions, they could be quite deceiving, bro, because you could be doing something that completely benefits you, but it just feels so nerve-wracking and, you feel me, shitty. Your heart pounding, you sweating like a bitch, your voice shaking. You feel like you doing everything wrong, but you know deep down that is good for you and you should be doing it. Such is the dichotomy of man, bro. It's tough.
Peep something that he doesn't even realize. And again, this is something that helped me with my social anxiety. He just talked to 2 people and nothing bad happened.
Yes.
That's what you need to realize. He's seeing the world as, why aren't you reacting in the way that I want you to react? That's part of the problem. You don't own nobody else's actions. You just own yourself and what you do. So if I talk to somebody, if I say, hey, I wanted to say hey to you. If you don't say hey back, that's on you. But the point is to get out of trying.
It feels like, because, that's a great point, Ty. It feels like when people don't reciprocate your energy, like you did something wrong, or maybe you were in the wrong for doing it in the first place, like kind of like maybe you didn't come correct enough, which is why they didn't say nothing to you. But literally, you can't control people's actions, like he said, bro. And I know, for example, when I'm trying to go up to a joint, right? You know what I'm saying? I always got to bring it back. When I try to go up to a joint and they don't give me no energy, it feels like a slight at me. It feels like they don't see me as valuable enough to even speak to. And then I internalize that and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not valuable. I ain't nothing. Because this girl ain't want to talk to me. It's like, bro, I'm a human being. I got so many people who love me, cherish me, value me. You know what I'm saying? Just because it's one person that I don't know and I wanted to crack didn't show me no love, it means I'm worthless. And that's that. You know what I'm saying? That's the end of it. That's so ridiculous when you really think about it. It feels that way. But when you sit back and actually observe and question your thoughts, you start to see a lot of it is just trash. It's just misinformation, bro. Inspired by, you know what I'm saying, your way of life maybe, or the way you was raised. You know what I'm saying? It goes back very, very far.
Trying to control what other people do. Like that book, let people react how they react. Be respectful, of course, but let them react how they react. If you said, hey, you say, hey. You know what I mean? You have anxiety on the response you're going to get. You are so fixated on making other people comfortable, so fixated on other people liking you, that you have now made yourself uncomfortable. When I was going through my anxiety really bad, I had to tell myself, it's either me or them. They may not like what I said. They may not laugh at my jokes.
But I did.
Choosing to satisfy them over me having inner peace is the question I had to ask myself. You want the world to feel so comfortable when they see you. You want people to say nothing about you. And because of that, you're willing to make yourself feel uncomfortable on the inside.
This is why I don't fucking talk to people. I be scared of shit like that. All right, maybe it's just the niggas. Maybe niggas just be hating on me. Why the nigga hating on me?
And then we justify.
Hey, y'all. I like your outfits. Thank you. Yeah, nigga.
Yeah, boy. Yeah.
I'm confident, nigga. I'm confident as hell.
You stupid.
All right, it's a man walking up right here. I'm gonna try to greet him, talk to him, something. I really don't know. I don't know. What's going on? How your day going, man?
Straight.
Bro, what the fuck? Is this real life?
I mean, bro, you got
Yo, that's a big thing, bro. Like, I like what he did right there because he didn't wait for permission to act the way he wanted to act. Me, with people like around my neighborhood, sometimes I'll be walking my dog, right? And usually always I would just kind of like, if I see people staring at me and we looking at each other, I would just hit them with a, how y'all doing? Like, if we was farther away at least, you know what I'm saying? Just a wave, because that's low stakes, you know what I'm saying? There ain't really no anxiety in that. It's really when I start talking to you, that's when I get nervous and start overthinking shit, right? Like I start shaking like a stripper. Like, you feel me? But say, for example, I'm walking by someone in close proximity when I'm walking my dog, and I don't know whether or not I should speak to them because they not turn to me, they not looking at me maybe, you know what I'm saying? So I literally wait. I'll look at them and see if they look at me, and only when they look at me, I'm like, oh yeah, how you doing? And even then, that shit feels like hell. Because if they don't respond, bro, I'm kind of like, I'm about to die right now in GTA. Like, this is the end of me. That's what it feels like. You feel me? But that's a big thing. Once you stop waiting for permission to be yourself, bro, no matter what happens after, you'll deal with it. You might feel bad, but you live. And once you see that nothing bad happens to you by acting the way you want to act, that's when the man, that clip was ready to go crazy, but I just had to mess it up, right? That is when the social anxiety goes away. Once you stop waiting for permission to just be who you want to be. You see nothing bad happens to you, you enjoy it, you feel good from doing it. That's when you stop feeling anxious and bad and caring overly about what people think about you.
got a camera in front of you. Everything looks like a joke. But what I want you guys to realize, you know how you got an aunt, you got a homie, you got a mom, a dad. The same way you could just talk to them about anything, most people would rather you talk to them just like that.
No
Hey, how you
bullshit.
doing? Yo, ain't it so cold
Bro.
outside?
Bro, I was literally saying, like, bro, I've been thinking about this heavy, right? Instead of assuming that you have to be a certain way, right? With, say, for example, a stranger. If you just assume that it's okay for you to talk to them comfortably, they'll just go with that vibe more often than not. And just you doing that, you've made way more progress in getting close and relating and building a connection with them. Just off you doing that, then if you was like, oh hey, how you doing? Try and play it smooth and play it correct, play it safe. You feel me? All of a sudden, just because you assumed that it was okay to do what you did and they was reciprocating it, now you way farther. Y'all way more connected. You know what I'm saying? Like, indeed. Especially with the hoes, if you just assume that y'all already go together, she might reciprocate your energy or she might not. Instead of you saying, oh, I think you're so beautiful, ma'am. Can I get your number perhaps? And then you got to do all that extra shit to build the comfortability when you could have just came comfortable from the rip. Either she gonna reciprocate or she not, bro. It's simple as that. And when she do reciprocate, you're gonna be way more happy that you went ahead and set the vibe, set the tone, than if you was to be on some bitch ass shit. I'm talking to myself a lot of the time. When I talk to y'all, I'm talking back to myself too.
Day. Yeah, it really is cold. What side of town you coming from? Oh, I'm coming from the east side. Oh, for real, I live on the west.
It's literally crazy how I could spit off all this knowledge and I know these things, but I still don't always act in alignment with the knowledge that I know, because when I'm not thinking about these things, it doesn't feel like I know them, right? I'm not holding them in my mind at the present moment, but how I'm rattling off, and I've been rattling off this whole time throughout this video, spitting what I think is facts, right? Valuable information. When I'm just in the moment, it feels like I don't know it until I go and do it and then realize, oh yeah, I do. I've been thinking about that a lot recently. Why can't I just rattle off words and speak without planning what I'm saying? Why is that a thing? Why are we able to do that? That's so impressive. It's so impressive. But I think it just comes from an experience thing. You know what I'm saying? Our brain, they store memories inside of us. They recognize certain patterns, you know what I'm saying, where it's cool to say things like this, good to say stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Even your body language, the way you pause when you talk, the tone of voice you got in certain situations and scenarios. They store information where those things are good to do, easy to do, appropriate to do. So literally all of our experiences up to this current point, it, you know what I'm saying? It influences and it enables us to be able to function the way we function in this current moment in time. Which is why experience is so important. I had that epiphany today, bro. I'm just like, yo, bro, I feel like I'm never going to have the right thing to say to these hoes. You know what I'm saying? It's only one way for you to get better at that, and that's experiencing shit going bad. You feel me? Recognizing a certain pattern in hindsight. Oh, I could have said this in that moment. All of a sudden, the next time that moment comes up, you don't even got to think about it. You just rattle that hoe out before thinking about it, seemingly. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I got to get in that field, bro.
What you doing over here?
I got to stop talking about it and really being about it to the fullest extent. I've been wanting to do that for so long, but I'm just so scared of the reaction that I'll get. But anything, literally anything that happens to me, as long as it's not pure violence, I can live with it. I can live with people thinking whatever they want to think about me. I still wake up and breathe and eat and function the same every single day.
Well, I'm just down here for a business.
I keep pausing, but no matter what happens, I will always return to me. Just remember that. Whenever you think about some shit and how it feels like the end of the world, I will always return to myself, and that is enough. I will always have me at the end of the day, indeed.
Conference or something, a business conference, for real. What you got conference for? When you talk to people like they're people, instead of like trying to be like a robot and look at them in their eyes the whole time, it eases the tension of the whole moment when you could just talk to somebody like a person. During my single days, you know what I mean? The reason why it was always, I ain't gonna say always so easy, but the reason why it was pretty easy for me to talk to women, I used to always talk to them like they were human. I never tried to be clever. You know what I mean? Only time I want to be clever is if I'm being funny, you know, and if I'm like, I'm feeling that. But what I'm saying is I never treated them as if they weren't humans. I wasn't like roses are red, violets are blue, and I'm just trying to get to know you and try to see what she says back. Nah, bro,
Yeah.
that's awkward. Now, if I was to do something, it's for a joke. You know, it's maybe it's to be cute, it's to be funny, you know? But I think we think too deep into these interactions rather than just treating a human like a human.
Yeah.
You realize that most people actually have social anxiety. They're waiting for you to break the comfortable ice.
Deadass.
And that helped me a lot, knowing that a lot of people are not that comfortable in conversation. It's actually normal. What I found is that I used to have anxiety about having anxiety. There's certain moments you're just going to have anxiety. Like today I went to church. And I went to a new church. The last time I went to a new church, they made me stand up. Yeah, I mean, they made me stand up and introduce myself. Again, introducing yourself is such an awkward moment. Granted,
Yeah.
I stood up. I think I told you about this. I stood up. I introduced myself. Voice may have shook a little bit. But I had to realize today when I was at church, if it's to happen again, bro, it's very normal for people to stand up in front of a crowd of people they don't know, and it's a little bit, you know, a little bit of anxiety.
Yeah.
Sometimes that feeling of anxiety is not something that you should be mad about. It's just showing that your nervous system
You
is working
care.
properly.
It just shows you care.
Regulate it if it's on some regular one-to-one stuff, but it's okay. I really used to catch myself having anxiety about having anxiety.
No bullshit.
That's crazy. That's an ongoing loop.
Endless spiral.
I ain't want to look at the fucking thing. This is crazy. Like a nigga just be.
The worst part about social anxiety, in my opinion, in my experience, when I was going through it when I was younger, is that social anxiety makes you feel like you are pathetic. And sometimes this is an internal feeling, but
Yes.
sometimes this is because of the way people treat you. They look at you like there's something wrong with you. Like, why? Who cares, right? Like, oh, why are you so worried about what other people think? What's the big deal? Just stop caring. Stop worrying. Yeah. And this makes you feel really small. It makes you feel, it like doubles down on your lack of confidence. Like, you already don't have confidence, and then you have people saying, well, just don't care what other people think. Why do you care so much about what other people think? And then you feel even more insecure about yourself. And
it's almost like a moment of, well, damn, if it's that easy, what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
If it's that easy, what's wrong with me?
Why am I the only one going
one
through
of
this?
the comparisons I like to make, this actually helped me kind of reconceptualize my anxiety, because what happened was I got insecure about my anxiety, and that made me more anxious. And what I realized was social anxiety is just a fear like anything else. But lucky for other people is that their fears don't affect them every single day. Right? Like, if you have a fear of jellyfish, but you live in the middle of in the inland, well, it doesn't really matter, right? Because you're not going to come across jellyfish, so who cares? But imagine having a fear that you have to face every single day. And that's the thing. It doesn't matter what the content of the fear is, because anyone, if they actually tried hard enough, they could empathize with a fear. I don't think there's any person on the planet who doesn't have a fear, some kind of fear. But again, most of our fears, most people's fears, they don't have to deal with that much. They can avoid them and it doesn't affect their life. When you have a social anxiety, which is fear of socializing, it affects you every single day. Imagine if you have this fear of jellyfish, and instead of just being able to avoid it every day, every time you walked out, you were just surrounded by jellyfish. You would be terrified all day long. That's what people.
That is a fact. My dad said it perfectly to me one time when I was dealing with this really bad. And he said, sometimes you just have to look under the bed and realize there is no monster there.
You gotta go through it to get through it.
Allow it to be weird, but there's no monster there. Go speak. Yeah, I mean, see, mine was so weird because I was not somebody to have social anxiety like all my life. It was a period in my life where it just crept up on me. And I know where it came from. It came from me going a whole year of doubting myself. Me like trying to get validation from somebody that wasn't giving it to me. It made me question myself. Now, where I have a job to talk every single morning and every single day, I have to trust what I say. Say the things that are on my mind. So this has helped me a lot as well to just re-regulate me to who I was before. But what you realize is there's no monster under the bed once you put yourself out there. And sometimes just knowing that other people are also going through it will also make you feel better. All right, but this is one of my favorite experts right here. So I'm going to be quiet and let him speak.
Social anxiety. Some people do have like severe social anxiety. What do you say to those people?
It's the slow process of desensitization, exposure therapy. And I was that. I mean, the only reason I learned magic in my life was because I felt like I had no value. And I had to go learn a whole craft to have value so that I could be amazing, because by myself, I'm not amazing. And then when I had this amazing thing, then everyone thought I was amazing. I was like, oh, I'm amazing now. But then one day I forgot my cards at school, and then all of a sudden I went home and I had some social interactions. I went, oh, I'm not amazing. What I'm trying to say here is, instead of picking something like magic and then using that as a crutch, because I did, and then in every conversation with you, I would have to do magic with you first before I do anything else. Because if I didn't, I don't feel confident. Now I feel like I have nothing to give. This is why I push communication skills so much. Let me share with you a story. When I was 13, I went to year 8 camp, freshman camp. I had a really good friend at the time named Kevin. I saw him playing ukulele around the fire camp. And for the first time, I saw Kevin talk to girls. Me and Kevin bonded over the fact we would never talk to girls, because I couldn't do it, he couldn't do it, and we bonded over that. That night, he broke that trust, because he was talking to girls and he was playing his ukulele and he was amazing. And I felt so pissed off at him. I ran back to the cabin, and the next morning I went, oh, the only friend I have here is now talking to girls. And then the next morning I see him at the breakfast table by himself. I was like, what?
That shit resets, bro. It resets. When them things that make you confident are outside of you, they'll never consistently give you confidence, my nigga. That's why you gotta have that internal sense of confidence. Dead ass. Find confidence in your characteristics, your qualities. What makes you who you are through your actions. Not because of what you can do, what you can provide, what you can show, but because of who you really are. And you gotta embody that every single day. That's how you have confidence in yourself all the time. That don't mean you gonna feel good all the time, but it just means you have something to come back to every single time. Something that you're rooted in. So you might feel good at first. You might wake up, start the day feeling good. Something might throw you off. You might pivot quick as shit back to feeling good, because you just remind yourself of who you is at the end of the day. Because that's what makes me feel bad. When I feel that someone else thinks bad about me, that temporarily makes me feel bad. But every time I come back to myself and I remember, I love who I am, nigga, like dead ass. I love being myself. I love being who I am. I love what I represent. I love what I'm about. I do. But it's the shit that's on the external things outside of me that they make me start hating myself. But my base self, I love that nigga, dead ass. You feel me? But then I started assuming, oh yeah, what if this person don't like me? That means I'm not shit. You feel me? I'm just coping. I'm not actually valuable or good or deserving to love himself. Like, that's absolutely ridiculous, bro. Absolutely ridiculous. So, yes, you got to have that internal confidence. Not because you're good at something. It couldn't give you confidence, but that shouldn't be what your confidence is rooted in. That shouldn't be why you decide to get good at that thing. You want to get good at that thing because you want to get good at that thing. And that thing can give you confidence, but it shouldn't be the reason why you feel good about yourself. No one thing should make you feel confident except being who you is. But that's a culmination of a whole bunch of things that make you you. You know what I'm saying? Accurately representing who you are to everyone. I feel like that's what would give me confidence. Real shit.
The bee's knees last night, and now he's by himself. What the frick? And I didn't understand that for the life of me. And then I experienced it in my life with cards. When I have a packet of cards, I could talk to anyone. But then when I didn't have my cards, I couldn't talk to anyone. I had crippling social anxiety. And I went, oh, this is what we call contextual confidence. Oh, interesting. So in certain contexts, I'm more confident. Even the people you're talking about who are anxious, there are certain contexts where they are contextually confident and they light up. There's a certain topic that if someone talks about it, they might think of themselves as being a bad communicator, but because that topic comes up, they now are a great communicator. Right? So then the idea of contextual confidence led me to really working out that communication skills is such a critical skill set. Why? Because if I master the use of my voice, if I master the use of my body language, I master the ability to storytell, can I leave my voice at home? Can I leave my body language? Can I leave my ability to storytell and connect with other people at home? You can't. Now you have this ability that follows you everywhere you go, meaning you become contextually confident in every single area of your life.
Social.
Wow, contextually confident. I think I have something of that sort. What I call it is I don't like small talk. Small talk makes me cringe.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I mean, what's the Gen Z word? Cringe, bro. It makes me cringe. It's something about, do we even want to have this conversation?
Real talk.
But I'm learning that small talk is very important in just communication skills, because how can you get to a big talk without small talk? You know, so it's one of those things that I can't necessarily run away from. Just got to have it, you know, just got to have it and improve it. But I was able to populate a couple of scriptures from ChatGPT about social anxiety. So here we go. 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 7. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and sound mind. Social anxiety makes you feel powerless, judged, shaky, mentally overwhelmed. But this scripture reminds you that anxious voice didn't come from God. God's spirit brings confidence, self-control, and love towards self and others. It's not saying anxiety equals sin. It just reminds you that fear isn't the final authority over you. So we did a whole listen to Outwitting the Devil. If you have not listened to my series of Outwitting the Devil, go to my playlist and listen to that whole series. It's probably like 8 episodes. So y'all go check that out. In the book, it depicted the devil as constantly using our fear to control us. Think about how many great things you are possibly meant to do, give to the world, but you're scared to do it because you have social anxiety. You have social fear. I'll make it even more personal. A couple of years back, like I said, I was dealing with social anxiety very bad, to the point where I'd be speaking and my chest would get tight or my hands would get clammy. I knew I had something to give the world. I feared the world would
reject you. Yeah.
So now think about the DMs that I get now. Think about the comment sections that I have underneath my YouTube videos. Whether it's making y'all laugh, whether it's just entertaining y'all, or whether it's we're learning something together. Had I sat in my fear of my social anxiety, I would never be able to change anybody's life through my videos.
Yes.
I would never be able to give somebody else a perspective shift through my videos, knowing that I have a perspective that I want to give to the world. So always ask yourself, who am I giving power to? Am I giving power to God, or am I giving the power to the devil? Because the devil will use my fear to stop me from doing that thing that I should be doing. The devil will use your fear to stop you from walking up to the woman that's potentially your wife. The devil will stop you from articulating yourself in a business setting to get that opportunity that could change your whole lineage of your family. So constantly ask yourself, by me listening to this fear, Who am I listening to? God or the devil? Cast your
That's
anxiety
hard.
on him. 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 7. Cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. Explanation. Social anxiety is heavy because you carry it. The fear of embarrassment, the fear of rejection, the fear of judgment. Just those right there, the embarrassment. Oh my goodness, yo. The things we do to avoid embarrassment.
Dead ass.
What I've learned to avoid embarrassment is to laugh at yourself. It's kind of like the word I can't say. You know, in those other videos that I've been doing, that corrosion. But it's not to be embarrassed. It's laugh at it. I'm not perfect. Stop trying to. The more you try to hold on to this perfect image, the larger the opportunity of being embarrassed is. If you are just human, you won't be embarrassed by doing human-like things. You're a human. If you stutter, that is human. If you that's human. Is it things you should work towards and correct? Yes. But
Indeed.
Don't fear it possibly happening. Allow it to happen. The reason why I say allow it to happen, because part of having a fear is not accepting the things that are actually normal. Now you just have to fix those things. And just like the first time I dribbled the basketball, I had to get better over time. The
Practice.
fear of rejection. Somebody not accepting you for you. Only thing I want to say on this right here is it's either you chase their validation or you walk away with your inner peace, knowing that you were exactly who you are. You spoke from exactly how you think. You didn't try to satisfy nobody. They either accepted you or they did not. Nobody that does not accept you but receives your facade should be around you. So I'm actually going to end this video right here. I'll scroll down in case you guys want to, screenshot the rest of the notes and things of that nature. But anyways, y'all, I just want to give y'all that real quick because like I always say, everybody doesn't go to church on Sunday, but you might watch this YouTube channel for whatever reason you watching it on a Sunday. Yeah, I mean, you're used to me giving you entertainment, but I like to slide in some facts. You know what I mean? Some life-changing, conversations as well. So I hope I was able to give you that today, along with you being entertained, all right? So make sure you hit that like button, subscribe button, turn on my post notifications and all that good stuff, man. The very last thing I want to tell you, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, you are not alone. You are not the only person that's battling what you're battling, and you're not the first person to battle what you're battling. You're not the second, you're not the third, and you won't be the last.
That's hard.
Therefore, better days will come. But sometimes you just got to look under the bed and realize, man, there was no monster there this whole time. Until next time, y'all, it's been your
Hey, man, shout out Ty Buggy, man. Shout out my dog, bro. Yeah, my main thing, bro, and I keep telling myself I'll do it, but I inevitably give in to the fear, is that I just got to get through that shit. I'm so focused on making it go the way I want it to go, I don't even do it. The moment passes, it's gone. My opportunity is no longer there. Instead, because I know I'm capable of that thing, right? It's not a matter of, what's it called? It's not a matter of capability, or I feel like I'm looking for a certain word. Yeah. It's not a matter of, what's it called? Ability. Yeah. It's not a matter of ability. I said capability. It has ability in it, but it's not a matter of ability. It's a matter of courage, my nigga. Do I have the courage to potentially mess up and still show up? Or do I have the potential not even mess up? Because what is messing up? You know what I'm saying? Do I have the courage to show up as myself? Whatever that may look like in that moment, it was me. You feel me? Because I had the effort to step forward and do what I wanted to do. That's me showing who I am, right? Do I have the courage? I got this shit tatted for a reason. It means, well, it's the, kanji for courage in Japanese, right? It's yuki, It means courage, This shit look hard. I had to get it just to remind myself, stop being a bitch. My fault. That was mad loud for no reason. I think it played twice. But yeah, it's not whether or not I have the ability to succeed, but do I have the courage to succeed? Do I have the courage to potentially fail? And the courage to keep going despite that failure so that I will inevitably succeed. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's all about. Because I know what's on the other side of discomfort is growth. And I need to lean into that shit way more. I know that I do. But literally I get them voices in my head, the social anxious voice, or what if you fuck up? What if they think this about you? What if they think that about you? Every single time I've messed up or one of those worst case scenarios have happened, which it hardly ever does. The worst case scenario hardly ever does happen. Whenever those things have happened to me, I've survived. I've made it through. I've gone on and done the shit that I know that I could do. I fucked up. Boom. I did good. I might fuck up again. I might fuck up 3 times in a row. Inevitably, I still will do good again because I've always been capable of it. I've always had the ability to do it. It's just about whether or not I have the courage to do it, indeed. And that's what I'm gonna end the video on right there. Let me know what y'all think of this whole topic in the comment section down below. Do you struggle with social anxiety? If so, share your story. I would love to hear it. I would relate to you, you know what I'm saying? Because you're not alone, like my nigga Top Boogie said. And yeah, man, this is a great video. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate y'all watching the video. And until next time, I'll catch you guys later. Love y'all. Peace.